People who have been kidnapped. What's your story? Story 1. I lived with my alcoholic mom and her loser boyfriend. No physical abuse, but the psychological stuff was brutal. Food was always locked away. One weekend my dad picked me up, saw I was basically starving, mom and boyfriend had been gone a week, and said, "Pack your stuff." We spent months hiding, relatives' houses, cheap motels, friends' places. Once cops showed up at my dad's girlfriend's house, and I hid under the bed. Dad eventually got full custody. I never went back. Thank you, Dad. I owe you everything. Story 2. I was 10 to 11. Super sweet 50-something neighbor always waved from her porch. One day she called me over, said she baked cake. I loved cake, so I went inside. Instead of giving me a slice ice on the porch, she took me to the basement, sat me on a couch, brought cake, showed me Pokemon 2000 on VHS, and there was a freezer full of ice cream. When I said I had to go home, she claimed my parents called and asked her to watch me. That sounded off, but I stayed. Fell asleep watching the movie. Woke up, the basement door was locked. There was a full plate of steak, fries, and eggs waiting. I ate and went back to sleep. Around 5 a.m. she opened the door crying, eyes red and swollen, and asked if I wanted to go home. I never told my parents the real story. No cell phones back then. Next day she acted normal. We never spoke about it, but I'm pretty sure she'd lost a child a few years earlier and was trying to fill the void. I never held it against her. Until I moved away years later, I'd sit on her porch after school almost every day, and she'd listen to my teenage nonsense like it was the most important thing in the world. Story 3. My sisters and I, ages 4 to 12, were repeatedly kidnapped by our dad during a nasty custody battle. Mom had severe mental health and addiction issues. Dad would take us, lock us in closets for days, sometimes forget to feed us, and try to extort money from our wealthy grandma, the only one who called police. Memories are fuzzy, but I still remember the pitch-black closets, the hunger, and the sudden light when a cop finally opened the door. Gave me a lifelong fear of the dark, and blonde men with mustaches still make me anxious. I'm 41 now. When I divorced, my kids were the same age as we were. Those old fears came rushing back. Story 4. Manhattan, 2 summers ago. Brutal hangover. Girl I was dating stormed out. My old roommates had moved out the night before, apartment full of boxes. Doorbell rings. I open it in my boxers, thinking she forgot something. Instead, terrifying 50-year-old scarred giant with intense eyes and a thick mustache. Asks for Billy, old roommate. I say Billy moved out. He kicks the door in, I fall. He slaps me so hard the hangover vanishes. Calls himself Big Tony. Says Billy owes him big money. Threatens to throw me out the window or shoot my knees if I call cops. Billy on the phone swears he doesn't know any Tony. Tony gets mad, threatens me again, then suddenly likes me. Apologizes, offers cigarettes, complains about how messy we live. Ends up buying us coffee and donuts, hangs out telling stories, even comes back the next day with beer. We're still friends today. Wildest kidnapping ever. Story 5. Age 6. Third world country where kidnappings were common. One day playing in the front yard, an old man asked for water. I opened the gate. He grabbed me. Woke up somewhere far away. Tied up, duct tape on my mouth, removed for food/water. They only gave me gross food. I only ate fruit. Ransom was demanded, don't know how much. A few days later, police raided the place. Kidnappers got life. My family emigrated shortly after. I'm grown now. Still think about how easily I could have been sold into slavery. Lucky. Story 6. At 19, my ex-boyfriend kidnapped me from my parents' house, stuffed me in the trunk, and drove for 8 hours. Moved me to the back seat. Right then, cops spotted the car. High-speed chase. He crashed into a tree. He did 4 years. Now he's married with 3 kids. Honestly, it barely affected me. Just something that happened. Story 7. Age 6 to 7. Parents in nasty divorce. Mom, Canadian/U.S., dual citizen, feared losing custody since she was financially dependent on Dad, U.S. only. One day she kept me home from school and fled to Canada. Dad couldn't do anything legally. Months later, she felt guilty and came back. Dad's lawyer crushed her. She lost almost all rights. Dad was a functional alcoholic and extremely abusive. I lived in terror until 17 when I finally moved out. Now at 28, I'm trying to rebuild relationships with both parents. I've forgiven them. Story 8. Age 7 to 8. Visiting family village in Pakistan, 200 people. Word spread rich Americans were in town. Playing in a sketchy arcade, cousin left, I stayed. 2 men grabbed me, dragged me crying through the street in broad daylight to a house. An old woman, probably their mother, freaked out asking why I was crying. They locked me in a room. I screamed and banged on the door for hours. Eventually, the old woman opened it and told me to run. I asked random kids and women for directions back to the arcade and made it home. Pakistan has a terrible reputation for child trafficking, especially boys. I got incredibly lucky that woman let me go.